The Narcissist Collapse, I believe, is a term coined by Sam Vaknin, a self-proclaimed narcissist who's done a lot of research in the area of narcissism and narcissistic abuse, another term he coined. When it comes to a narcissist collapse, it is an extreme form of distress, often due to their loss of self-image. They feel challenged, they feel threatened. Narcissistic individuals build this sort of brick wall up of a facade of who they are as a person, yet inside it's not them. And whenever that sort of reality hits from the reality they've created, they've got that reality gap, and they hit that collapse. They can't manage with it, they can't cope with it. Now, people can sort of lose a job, lose a family member, have a breakdown of a relationship. People can hit all sorts of different issues within their lives. They can have health issues. People can have a baby and hit that depression, go into a state of depression. They can hit rock bottom, and they can need support and they can need help, and they question themselves and blame themselves and go all out to work their way back up. They can lose their home, they can lose their cars. It's normal to be depressed in those kinds of situations, and then having to try and figure out a way back out of it when everything seems so bleak. With a narcissistic individual, they don't question themselves, they don't look at themselves, they blame and shame everybody else. It's always somebody else's fault. Somebody else made life difficult for them. Somebody else made life challenging for them. Somebody else made life hard for them. Everybody else has it easy. Everybody else has all the luck. Nothing is ever their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. When they lose control, this can lead to a narcissist collapse unless they can regain control in another area of their life. It's not nice. We all like that sort of sense of certainty, and too much uncertainty can throw us into a state of despair. When a narcissistic individual loses their sources of supply because they burned one too many bridges, so they've got no one to offer them that support or that sympathetic attention. It was their family that weren't there for them. It was their friends that betrayed them, even though they were the ones that betrayed their friends, even though they were the ones that impressed the strangers and ignored their family. To the narcissist, it's always twisted to be the other person's fault. They can become very angry and very hostile. They can become vicious. They become very defensive when they're going into that narcissist collapse. You don't want to be around them when they're going through this, because they're not going to recognize anything as their fault. It's always going to be somebody else's. They can become physically and verbally aggressive towards you or towards those around you. They can become extremely vindictive, sort of a protection, a defense mechanism is to become vindictive, because they believe that somebody else has caused them to lose everything because they're not going to reflect on their own behavior. And we can lose things at the cost of somebody else, and it's a very harsh life experience. And we can go into a state of wanting to seek revenge on a person. However, that empathy usually kicks in, stops you from taking things too far, looks for ways to self-improve. With a narcissist, they perceive themselves as perfect. They don't see a need to improve. They see a need to bring you crashing down, to make you feel how they're feeling. And it's not for that karma, because the other person didn't do anything to the narcissist. It's natural to feel these things when someone has betrayed you, lied to you, deceived you. It's natural to want to see karma hit. But with a narcissist, no one's actually betrayed them. They betrayed themselves and then blamed everybody else. They cheated on no end of people, and then they get to the end of their life and no one's left for them, and they blame all the people that they cheated on for not being there for them. Narcissistic individuals, when they go into that narcissist collapse, can withdraw from society. And someone who is a survivor of narcissistic abuse can isolate themselves as a form of self-protection, because they can no longer trust their own judgment and they don't know who to trust with those around them. And you can develop a very close-knit, small circle of friends that you know you can trust. You can isolate yourself. Narcissistic individuals isolate themselves out of that self-pity. You'll notice with a victim, they might isolate themselves, but they're still making a life for themselves. They're still going out to work. They're still doing things for themselves. They're just no longer interested in telling anybody and everybody their business. They keep things to themselves. Narcissistic individuals will isolate themselves and blame and shame everybody else. Failed relationships can cause people to go into depression. If a narcissist hasn't got a new source of supply lined up, it leads them to a narcissist collapse. Not many people like being exposed. We can all have made a mistake in our past. We're human. Everyone makes a mistake. With a narcissist, they're vindictive, they're hurtful, they're liars, they're cheaters. If they get exposed and people don't believe the narcissist version of events, their facade crumbles and they become too close to that reality that they're trying to run away from, because they don't see themselves as the problem. They believe that everyone else is the problem. And when they hit that narcissist collapse, their self-destructive behaviours often get far worse. They don't learn to improve, and they don't improve with age. They get worse with age. They become more cunning and more sly and more manipulative. They have to learn new tricks to get their needs met. When a narcissist goes into that narcissistic collapse, they don't usually climb back out of it, because by that point they've usually driven everybody away. They've lost that charm and that charisma. They've lost their reputation. Now, you can have a narcissist go after your reputation and you have to build yourself back up. However, as they were spreading rumours and lies about you and it's not true, as you build yourself back up, genuine people get to recognise who you are as a person. Whereas with a narcissist, when they're exposed, people get to recognise who they are as a person. And then people give them a wide berth. And then they become the victim in the reality that they created. They moan about how no one cares about them, no one's there for them, nobody appreciates them. They don't see that they were never there for anybody unless they could manipulate that person or get something for that person. They don't see that they never cared about the other people. Some genuinely believe they did, even though they didn't. So to a narcissist, nothing is ever their fault. It's always somebody else's. And when they are suffering that narcissist collapse, if you care about them, it's difficult. You can want to be there for your elderly parent. However, there's nothing you can do to help or support them. If you go and visit them, they are literally just going to attack you. And if you can put that armour on to, is it Ross Rosenberg's observe and not absorb, then if it makes you feel better, but then again, it's just doing it to make you feel better. If it makes you feel better to go and see that parent who's suffering the narcissist collapse while they verbally attack you, yet you can observe that that's who they are and not absorb it, then you can do it. However, a lot of people are sensitive to these kinds of things. So you're going to come away and you're going to think, did I do that right? Should I have done that better? And that self-analysis, you can sort of think, yeah, potentially I could. How can I take that into my future? Rather than attacking yourself. a narcissist will attack you enough. You don't need to attack yourself. You just need to learn how to improve who you are as a person. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers, and your continued support with the channel is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I do also have several books out on Amazon: 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People If You Cannot Go No Contact, a Narcissists Handbook, which is the ultimate guide to understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, and how to create boundaries around those who have no respect for your boundaries, and those will be in the description. Also, if you'd like to go and check them out, go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.